Okay, this is Algebra 1, Module 4, Lesson 11. This is not the exit ticket, but it's what we're calling the exit ticket. It's 4 problems and then the problem set. So it says, rewrite each expression by completing the square. Now, this is what we do to complete the square. You're going to write the first 2 terms just as they are. So we're just going to rewrite them. A squared minus 4a. Okay. Now, here we go. This is where you got to start paying attention. Can anybody tell me what to do next? You're going to half the middle term and square it. Okay? So the middle term is 4. If we half it, it's 2. Then if we square it, it becomes 4. So we're going to add 4, and then we're going to subtract 4. Then we're going to add our 15 back. Okay? On the whiteboard. Okay. So this one, if you think about our 3 terms as A, B, and C, this is B divided by 2 and squared. That's how we get this, and we get this. Halved the middle term and then squared it. And we added it. And then we subtracted it. Because it's the same thing. We don't change anything. If we half it, square it, we add it. And then if we subtract the very same thing, we didn't change it. We added 4 and subtracted 4. We didn't change anything. Okay? Because that's the only way to work these out. I'm going to show you. Let me erase this stuff. Okay. Now, you're going to regroup these basically and leave these out. We're going to leave that out right now. Now we can trial and error this. But I want to show you what it's supposed to be if you've done it correctly. If we did trial and error, what would it be? A, what? Since this is a plus, that means both of them are going to be negative because this tells us that it's negative. So it's A minus what? Two. Both of those are 2. And we know that's true because we half the middle one, right? And then we squared it. And that gave us our new last term. Our term's not 15. Our term is 4 now. So we know that is correct. That's the reason why we did it, to make it simple like this. Now, we can rewrite this as, since it's both A minus 2, we'll rewrite that as A minus 2 squared. That's how you know you've done this first part correct. You've got a square. A minus 2 squared. Now let's finish the rest of it. Negative 4 plus 15 is 11. So it's going to be plus 11. And that's your answer. Okay? Everybody see that? Notice that you could not have gotten that by trial and error. There's no way you would have got that trial and error. Yes, when you can't solve it with trial and error, you're going to look at completing the square, and another one is quadratic formula. All right, so let's do the number 2. We can't do that with trial and error, can we? Why not? Why can't we do 5 and 3? Why can't we do 5 and 3? Let's try. N minus 5, N plus 3. Is that correct? So we can solve that one. But now then, let's look at it if it was not. Let's do let's do completing the square. That does work, right? N minus 5, N plus 3. That's negative 15. Okay. All right, just making sure. All right, let's do it completing the square now. Rewrite our first two terms. N squared minus 2n. Half the middle term is what? 1. We're not worried about coefficients, or we're only worried about coefficients here. What's 1 squared? 1. So let's add 1, subtract 1, and then the rest of our problem here. And forget about this part now. So what's our square going to be here? N minus 1 squared minus 16. So that is the answer by completing the square. Okay. We could have actually done trial and error with it, but we're practicing completing the square here. Okay. Let's do the next one. Write our first two terms. C squared plus 20c. What's half of 20? 10. Squared. Plus 100. Minus 100. Minus 40. We're going to leave these alone right now. We don't care about those last two terms. Now let's complete this square. What's this one going to be? If you don't know, trial and error. C what? Plus 10, C plus 10. They're always going to be the same in completing the square. That's the whole point. Okay? 10 times 10 is 100. 10C plus 10C is 20C. So now we have, so I'm going to erase this. It's C plus 10 squared. Now what's negative 100 minus 40? Negative 140. 900. Negative 140. That is the error. That is the answer for completing the square. It's always going to work out because you're basically manipulating it to do exactly what you want it to do. We're halving the middle, which means if I add those two together, I'm going to get my number, right? If I half 10, I get 5. And now I got to add those two together with my squares, I get my 10 back. Okay? And since I squared it, I halved it, then I squared it, right? Well, if I squared it, then I know I'm going to get my last term. Because the last two is just squared. All right, here we go. Let's do this one. X squared minus 1000x. What's half of 1000? Squared. What's 500 squared? What is 500 squared? 250,000. So we're going to add 250,000. We're going to subtract 250,000. And then we're going to add the 60,000. Back to it. Now, we do not care about the first one. Okay? Or I'm sorry, these last two. Now, what's it going to be? We know it's going to be minus. What did we half it? What was our half? 500. That is going to be our completing the square, guys. Just like earlier, it was 10. We half 20 and got 10. Before that, we half 2 and got 1. Before that, we half 4. That is your completing the square part. Just plug it in. Now, what is negative 250,000 plus 60,000? That'd be a negative 190,000. And that is your answer. Do you see that? Why is it? Because if we were to trial and error x squared minus 1,000x plus 250,000, you would get x minus 500 and x minus 500. That's x minus 500 squared. That's the whole point, is getting something squared. It's called completing the square for a reason. Okay? Now, page 2. This is your problem set. I want you to work every one of these out on paper. Then you're going to go and type in the correct answer into assessments. And then you're going to turn in your work. Turn in your paper. I'm going to do the first one with us. Just a reminder here. I'm hoping everything starts clicking here. We have q squared plus 12q plus, what's half of 12 squared? 36 minus 36. Always do the plus first. Okay? Always do your plus first. Then your minus plus 32. Keep that separate. How did we half it? X plus 6 squared. Negative 36 plus 32 minus 4. That's your answer. Oh, no, it is not. It's not x, it's q. Q plus 6. It's that simple, guys. As long as you remember, half it, square it. That middle term. All right. I don't have any. Jordan. Yep, that's going to be the correct answer in assessment. Here, you're not